I hope that it's not just small buildings like this, and a guild of people, like let's say 30 or 40 people, can get together and over like a couple of weeks, they can actually build an entire castle. A massive entire castle in a seamless world that people can attack, invade, and do things like that.
Peak in the world. So here, I'm looking at the castle. This is actually player built.
It would be fucking amazing. Yeah, I get. Well, why not? Why not, man?
Mainframe just had their first dev stream and they showed actual gameplay from the current alpha build of Pax Dei. The devs did this through Discord, which absolutely ruined the visual quality of the gameplay that was showed, but even then, the gameplay in action looked promising, even with the clear lack of visual fidelity. But I mean, this is their very first alpha. Of course it's going to be scuffed. Just pretend that you're watching the first amazing trailer in 360 quality and you'll be fine. In this dev stream, they showed off the core of their PvE building system, which functions very similarly to Valheim, with material-based building and structural integrity. They showed how choosing your plot of land works, which shows that a player can literally set up a place to build anywhere within the Heartlands. And if you build something in the water, the game will even add algae growing on the side of your building. An environmental detail that I personally think is absolutely amazing, even though it's such a small thing. If the game is filled with small things like that, the world is going to feel alive in a way that will drastically increase a player's immersion in the world. As for building on a plot of land, you actually have 4 plots you can place down according to the alpha limits right now, and if you place a plot alone, it's going to be in a circle. But if you attach your plot to another plot, the plot you place will be slightly bigger. This is something every guy wants to hear, am I right? This will happen if you attach the plot to that of another player. Cue the sexy music. This built-in system incentivizes players to build together rather than alone, so they gain more space to work with. But I believe you can still combine your own 4 plots together and build a solitary home somewhere in the wilderness if you want to. It's not confirmed, but I think you'll get this same effect if you decide to build a plot with all 4 of your own available plots connected to each other, and you'll still get this size increase bonus. The main idea though is that players will join their plots together to create villages, and if enough people join a clan, they can build cities or even a castle on a mountaintop. They said that the gear you wear, along with the food you eat and the potions you use, will all come together to define your class. So while there aren't formal classes in the game, it's pretty unlikely that a magic-focused player will be able to use heavy armor. But everything in this game is skill-based, so who knows? In general, this is pretty much like gear rules in every other RPG game, but everything in Pax Dei will be player-made, from potions and food to weapons, armor, and even the buildings. In the original trailer, we see a lady in armor and a person in leather armor and a hood, so we can very clearly speculate as to what type of combat they might specialize in. This is something that we'll be able to do with other players as we run into them in the world. But the gear that we were given glances of had tiers ranging from 1 to 5, and the armor that those pieces provided increased as the rank increased. So we can see that high-skill crafters will be able to create better gear, which will help drive the player economy between crafters and adventurers. They also mentioned special gear that can enhance your character in combat, but since they said gear would degrade eventually and break, I wonder if that special gear that you find would degrade and break also, forcing you to go out and reclaim that great piece of gear all over again, if it would even respawn. Leveling skills is going to take a lot of time and materials, so while a player can become a master of everything, thanks to the limited plot sizes, in order for a player to try and do that, they're going to need access to all of the equipment needed to do so, like all of the crafting tables, the forges, and all of that stuff, as well as take part in as much combat as possible to level up those combat skills. And this will probably lead to players focusing on what they enjoy and trading goods and services to get the things that they're lacking, like gatherers relying on adventurers to help them get materials from dungeons too dangerous for the gatherer to go into alone. which this situation very easily slots into the player cooperation focus that Pax Dei is going for. Gold as a currency was mentioned, but it sounds like it's going to be a physical object that's carried and could possibly be lost as part of the risk of adventuring or PvP. Market stalls were mentioned as well, so we can expect to be trading gold for goods as well, once they get that system figured out anyway. The world server right now can hold about 7,000 people, roughly the same amount of people they're letting into the alpha starting on the 14th. Now, each world is split up into 4 provinces, and each province contains 6 heartlands. Each heartland will allow a limited amount of player land claim plots, but some quick math suggests that each heartland will hold 1,167 plots, enough space for 291 players to use all 4 of their own plots in that heartland. This means that each area is going to be bustling with like 300 players if a server is close to full. And the devs even said that they wanted to make the worlds bigger, so hopefully enough players are interested in Pax Dei to make that a reality. If a heartland has no more room at character creation, players can select a different heartland to start in, but they can travel to that full heartland at a later time if they want to trade or do some other activity in particular in that area, like hunting for heartland specific items and stuff that's only available in that area. Specialty items, if you will. Each province is about 100 square kilometers, with about 80% of that being a playable area, and the entire world is about 320 square kilometers. For reference, Valheim's entire world is 314 square kilometers, with most of it being water. All 4 provinces are connected with gateways, so you can travel from one far corner of the world to the opposite side of the world if you wanted to. As of right now, modes of transportation and fast travel are being worked on and aren't available in the alpha. And this means that players will most likely stay in the area that they start in for the duration of the alpha, since it took a dev 6 hours to walk from one heartland to another to meet up with the rest of their dev clan. An adventure that was probably filled with a death or two, I bet. And speaking of death, the devs said that if you died, you would respawn elsewhere, generally near your body, and you would have to go back to your corpse to reclaim your items. This sounds very close to what happens in Valheim, except you have your bed as a spawn point. They did mention that other players can't loot your body and take your stuff if they stumble across it, but they kept avoiding talking too much about the PvP system, so they're probably still deciding on what to do with it. And combat looks like it's still really basic, so in addition to the PvE elements being limited to non-existent outside of hunting animals, PvP is going to be completely shut down for this alpha. As a result, the alpha is going to be focused on the peaceful elements of the game: exploration, crafting, gathering, and building. To sign up for the alpha, you can go to their website and go through the questionnaire. Alpha invites are going to be randomized, but the devs did mention that the clans are going to have an edge in the selection process. So if you're like me and enjoy playing solo and don't feel like being in a clan for this alpha, you can use this friend token in your application. It'll tell the randomizer that you're part of a group of players, but we won't force you to play together if you don't want to. If you are interested in playing with a clan, however, there's a clan recruitment channel in their Discord, and you can pick a group that suits your playstyle. My clan solo is listed there also, so you can let me know if you use the friend token in your app, and maybe we'll run into each other during the alpha. As for me, if I get into the alpha, I want to go in solo near this area and see if there's a dungeon here that might lead to this dragon. That sounds pretty fun to me. Now that I think about it, I forgot to mention that the gameplay that we saw in the dev stream is the same version of the game that players will get to test starting on the 14th of November, without an NDA, which means that even if we don't get into the alpha, we're still going to get all kinds of information about the survival building side of Pax Dei. So you can bet your buttons that I'm going to be taking apart all of the information I can and breaking it down into bite-sized chunks for you to digest. So sub to the channel if you don't want to miss those. There's a crap ton of information in this dev stream that I didn't talk about, so keep an eye on this channel if you want to see things you might have missed, like for gear, crafting, gathering, building, interactions with other players, and even emotes. Well, at least as much information as I could gather from this little bit of alpha gameplay. Let me know what you think in the comments below and if you're going to be signing up for the alpha on the 14th of November. But anyway, we're done now. So, like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.